What's going on, guys? Today I'm just filming a short little video on how to stop ranting because Lord, do I ever feel like I rant in my content. I will catch myself going on tangents about a topic that really wasn't even supposed to be in the video. I'll cover one thing and go from one point to the next, all because of a long rant. Sometimes it's because I couldn't remember where I started, so I need to just continue on from the last point I talked about. Or other times it's just because, well, I've brought up 4 things here, and if I don't go and articulate my point properly, I'll just be bringing up randomness. So how in the world do we stop this phenomenon of ranting? I'm sure a lot of you have this problem where you just, especially, unchecked, say talking to a camera or somebody who might not know as much about the topic, you can just get on a little bit of a rampage and start going. It's enjoyable. Sometimes we love being able to talk, share our knowledge, share our opinions. But then other times, afterwards, we stop, we sit there and we're like, oh my God, what did I just talk about for 5 minutes? Did I even say anything? Did I say anything of value? Or was I just spewing? So it is very important to learn the skill of not ranting. There is a word for that. It's, There is a word for that, but I don't remember what it is, and I'm not going to spend 5 minutes trying to think about it. I'm not. I said I'm not, okay? That didn't happen. But seriously, guys, how do we stop ranting? How do we be more condensed with our thoughts and articulate them properly? Well, think before you speak. That's a big one. You don't always have to be the quickest one to get a word out of your mouth or, oh, hey, wait, no, I know. Sometimes that makes you look a little bit stupider than you want. Sometimes the person who is, they wait to speak. They articulate their points in their head first, and then they speak. They wait till everybody else has got their ideas out quickly, and then, well, actually, this is how I think it is, or actually, no, this is how it is. Those are most often the most articulate and smartest people. Sometimes not so much because it took them so long to get to that thought. That's a rare case. It's I just felt like throwing that in there for fun. But seriously, guys, you think before you speak. You do not need to be the first one to speak. Oftentimes, they're not the smartest. Be the last one to speak. Or don't always be the last, but take some time, articulate your thoughts, and present them. All right. Secondly, you don't need to fully articulate your points. Now, this obviously sounds bad. This sounds like, well, what are you talking about? But sometimes we have this goal in our minds to get somebody to understand what we're saying, like 100%. The ins and outs of every facet of our point, that we need them to understand and hopefully agree with us. But we can often speak too much and get into a little bit of rambling in this mindset. Sometimes people only need to be presented with so much information. And if they want more, they're going to ask questions. So leave it to that. Explain your point, say the important parts of it, any factual information or whatever you need to get across, and let them ask questions from there. If they don't understand something about your point or they want to learn more, they're going to ask. Now, make sure you always are including the important details. You obviously wouldn't want to leave something out that means a lot to your point or would dictate whether the conversation would continue or not. But sometimes you just catch yourself rambling, trying to explain your point and get the other party to agree with you. Now, the third point is building off of that just a little bit more. Don't worry about if the person agrees with you or not. We can catch ourselves in conversations and debates and really any sort of social connection, just bringing things a little bit too far in order to get the person to agree with us. Sometimes people will recognize this is going on and just agree with you to end the conversation because they're like, this guy needs to shut the fuck up. But seriously, we don't always need people to agree with us, especially in conversations with nuanced opinions like politics or say even, God, especially sports, fashion, anything that's purely opinion-based and can't really be looked at factually. Do not try and convince the other person that your way of thinking is right. Articulate your points, speak, and after that, allow them to also articulate their own points. If they don't agree with you, Ask them about that. Have a conversation. But if you're spending all the time within a conversation trying to make sure somebody agrees with you, check that in indirect ways, or just directly, oh, no, you don't agree? Come on, no. You seem like an idiot, and you're going to be rambling. You're going to just keep going and miss out on lots of other conversation about different topics because you're still focused on making sure you agree upon one topic with somebody. The fourth tip that I want to go over is making sure you finish a topic before you move on to another one. Oftentimes, when we're talking about something or discussing a topic, other topics are going to come up, and you're going to start to talk about that one instead. Well, I brought up Sarah while I was talking about Jimmy John. Let's talk about how Sarah's doing first. But then this starts to confuse the story, and you forget where you were at in the initial point, and things become a little convoluted. So it's important to finish a topic before you move on to another one. So say somebody has introduced a new conversation topic while you're just in the middle of talking about something. Why don't you just say, hey, let's just finish talking about this real quick and we'll bring that up at the end. Or there's many ways to phrase this, but all you need to do basically is say, hey, we'll jump to that in just a second. I want to just finish talking about this. And then boom. You get the chance to finish articulating your points, actually remember what you're talking about there, and then you can move on. And say you don't remember what you're moving on to, probably wasn't going to be that important. But it's important to just remember to finish what you're talking about first before you move on, or else it's not going to allow your brain to get out all the points before it forgets them. And the last, but definitely not the least, is remember to breathe. Pause. Take a chance to actually get some breath in. I am guilty of this. Sometimes the words that you've just spoken need a little bit of airtime to actually settle in. But if you just follow them back up with another quick sentence, quick. Do you remember what I talked about 30 seconds ago? Probably not. But if I gave a nice long pause, gave myself a chance to breathe, you're going to remember what I said more likely than not. Because the pause there accentuates your topic and allows you time to think about what you're saying, gather your thoughts, and get right back at it. So don't feel bad adding a little pause or taking time to breathe within your sentence, within your conversation. It can be a well-needed pause to add emotion to your sentence, or just give your brain a little bit of time to catch up, because oftentimes our mouths move so quickly. We are talking so quick, and there is no shortage of words coming out of that brain. But sometimes they don't always line up because there's just too much going on at once. So give yourself time. In and out, guys. In and out. In and out. And in. And I hope you have a great day today. You relax, enjoy it all, and out. Take care. Bye.